so much for coming. I appreciate it. Thanks for helping us celebrate this first purchase of battery electric buses for Summit Stage. As well, thank you for helping us celebrate what is an exciting initiative, fleet electrification initiative that will span for many years to come. My name is Chris Luvers, Summit Stage Director. I'd like to thank the Summit Stage team for their work over the last couple years, putting together grant applications, going through procurement, etc., to get these 3 battery electric buses here. I know it looks like 2, it's actually 3. So just don't believe your eyes, just take my word for it, there's 3 here. No, it's actually, one of them's down for routine maintenance. Thank you also to Cdot, Division of Transit and Rail, David and Brody and team. They are responsible for helping all of us transit agencies put together compelling and competitive grant applications. So thanks David and Brody, Cdot DTR. Thanks also Casta and Rajeski and team. As you know, they provide training and advocacy for transit throughout the state. Thank you to High Country Conservation for support of environmental initiatives throughout Summit County. As well, huge thanks to Excel Energy for providing the power for these buses and for efforts to provide clean power going forward for these buses and hopefully many more to come. Thanks and huge thanks to the Stage Board, the Stage Advisory Board. We have advisory board members here today. Raise your hand if you're part of the advisory board. This volunteer board is responsible for many great recommendations over the years, which is why we have such robust and free transit within Summit County. So thanks, big thanks to you guys. Thanks to the Stage Board. Thanks to County Manager's Office. We do have Scott, Bentley, and Sarah. Thanks for great direction, great oversight, and the reason why we're here today. Appreciate it. As well, the greatest thanks to the Summit County Commissioners who are here today, and you will hear from them here in just a few minutes. So thanks to Summit County Commissioners for your commitment to this initiative and many others, and that truly is the reason why we're here. Very quickly, what is next with Summit Stage? We have been awarded funds for 1 additional battery electric bus. Through contracting and procurement, we would expect that delivery fall of 2021. We've submitted an application for a quantity of 3 additional battery electric buses, and we would expect that delivery, if awarded, in fall of 2022. So over the next couple of years, up to 4 additional battery electric buses. With that, I'd like to introduce Michael Wurzel, Environmental Coordinator for Summit County. And Michael's responsible for organizing and planning this entire event. So Michael Wurzel.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Our next speaker is our Colorado State Senator, Bob Rankin, and we just ask that you talk behind the podium so we can pick you up on the mic. Thanks, Bob.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to come to Summit County. I live over in the Roaring Fork Valley, which is beautiful, but I think you're certainly a challenge here this morning, so it's great to be here. And as a one-time electrical engineer for quite a few years, this technology is really exciting. You know, it's moving so fast. I remember just a few short years ago, Roaring Fork Valley, we celebrated going to natural gas buses, which would cut pollution by 50%. And all of a sudden, here we are, unexpectedly, moving this fast with electric vehicles. What we need, though, is more charging stations out in rural Colorado. You know, I always envision having to run an extension cord out of the motel window if I travel into my far-flung district with an electric car. But we're getting there, and we're getting there fast. And once again, I find Summit County in the leadership, you know, and I've been so honored to represent you for about 2 years now, and you know, I come across all kinds of places, healthcare, local negotiation for healthcare, opening for tourism. You've led the way for the state in learning how to deal with tourism and now getting the ski resorts open on time and keeping our businesses going. So in so many ways, Summit County really steps up. So I'm proud to represent you. The state, we have one of the most aggressive climate action plans in the nation. And some of our counties have really picked up and led that. But, these goals are ambitious. We're supposed to reduce, relative to our 2025 levels, just in 5 years, we're supposed to reduce 26%, according to that plan. Most of us will be very active in that 5-year period. So we have a lot of work to do to get there. And one of the things, we worked a lot at the state legislature last year on fixed sources of pollution, carbon and other pollutants for the environment. The Front Range is really in a difficult situation with non-attainment areas. But for us to lead that and lead new vehicles is really important. But what we found out is, looking at that, we talked about fixed sources and mobile sources of pollutants, and it's about the same. About 38% come from both. So while we're monitoring and working on and putting regulations on fixed sources, mobile sources are a little more difficult, and it is mostly vehicles. So they're, older gasoline vehicles really contribute quite a bit to that. But still, moving to electrical vehicles as fast as we can, I believe, is going to happen a lot faster than anybody ever predicted, because of battery technology and because of availability. However, folks are still not buying them. The dealers will tell you that electric vehicles sit on the lot longer than any other vehicle, sometimes a year. So moving and demonstrating that we can do this with these big, beautiful buses is going to motivate people to go look at electric vehicles and really take this seriously. So once again, congratulations to Summit County. So proud to represent leaders like you. It's just good to be with you. Wonderful fall air. What could be better? Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Up next, we have Kay Kelly, who is the Interim Director of the Office of Mobility at Cdot.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I am also thrilled to be here this morning to celebrate the arrival of electric buses for Summit Stage. Cdot has been working very closely with other state agencies and partners at the local level to move our state toward a future in which clean electric vehicles, cars, buses, trucks, all kinds of vehicles, we want these vehicles to be the norm and not the exception. In 2019, Cdot awarded $13.9 million in grants that allowed 6 transit agencies from across the state to purchase 23 battery electric buses, along with 20 EV chargers, electric vehicle chargers, to provide the charging infrastructure for those buses. Summit Stage was one of those agencies, and between federal funding and the local match from the county, almost $2.9 million was awarded for the purchase of these battery electric buses, and also the installation of the necessary charging infrastructure for them as well. Summit Stage is among the state's earliest adopters in the transit space of electric buses, and specifically one of the early adopters on the western slope. So the deployment of these buses is really going to help other agencies with similar geographic characteristics to better understand the costs and the benefits and the strategies needed for them to be successful. Summit County participates in the Colorado Association of State Transit Agencies, or CASTA, the Cdot Transit monthly calls, the Colorado EV Coalition, and other groups, and is going to help to disseminate the lessons learned here at Summit Stage to other transits hoping to follow in their footsteps. These initiatives are in line with Cdot's ongoing collaboration with transit agencies toward more bus electrification in the state. Electric buses are providing a number of benefits. They have no tailpipe emissions. They produce the lowest emissions per passenger mile, no matter how many passengers are riding. And that in turn is going to help improve local air quality. It's going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And as we know, transportation is now the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in the state of Colorado. These buses are also quieter. They have fewer moving parts. They require less maintenance over the long term. And they also can use renewable electricity instead of diesel or gasoline. Riding electric buses also allows people from a variety of backgrounds to experience the benefits of transportation electrification. It doesn't require them to purchase an electric personal vehicle on their own or have access to a house with EV charging. We see this as contributing to environmental equity and making sure that everyone gets a chance to experience transit electrification, vehicle electrification, and maybe plants a seed in their mind for them to consider EVs in the future based on the positive experience they can have with these buses. Cdot's also working with industry, with electric utilities, and with many other stakeholders across the state to develop a plan to transition our medium and heavy-duty vehicles to zero-emission technology. We're working with transit agencies and other partners for the conversion of the state's transit fleet with a near-term target of 1,000 electric transit vehicles by 2030. But as our state is transitioning to electric vehicles, Cdot knows that we want to help everyone from rural areas to historically disadvantaged communities benefit from EVs. That's why Cdot and other agencies have been working together on a grant program to help build community-based fast charging plazas that are going to help meet EV drivers who don't have access to home charging, as well as ensure that high mileage fleets like ride-hailing companies can transition to electric vehicles more easily. Cdot also is helping to support the adoption of hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles. We're working with auto dealers to support the marketing of electric vehicles. And Colorado's goal is to have 940,000 light-duty electric vehicles in the state by 2030. As Colorado's population continues to grow and more vehicles are on our roads, we know that Cdot is obligated to do all it can to relieve traffic congestion by encouraging the use of transit services. And with climate change, it requires us to do all that we can to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from the transportation sector and continue to pursue initiatives that can enhance Colorado's quality of life now and into the future. In closing, I want to say thank you to Summit County for being a great partner with Cdot on this project. We look forward to collaborating with you in the future, and we're looking forward to having these great buses as an example for our other mountain communities on what it looks like to be a leader in this sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Up next, we have Kelly Flanagan, who many of you know is the Area Manager of Community and Local Government Affairs at Xcel Energy.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here and out of my home office with my coworkers and a beautiful day. Congratulations, everyone. We're really excited to be a partner on this project, and I just want to share a couple of pieces about Xcel Energy's EV strategy. So in May, you may know, several of you partnered with us on our comprehensive multi-year transportation electrification plan. This gives all of the customers an opportunity to access all of the benefits from EVs, whether they drive one or whether they ride one. It's important that we lay the groundwork for our state's long-term goals, even in the midst of challenging times. Electric vehicles are a great opportunity for our customers to save money on transportation costs. Moving forward on this type of investment and program not only benefits our drivers, but all Coloradans, while reducing carbon emissions and air pollution while we continue to keep our bills low. I'm going to give you a little snapshot of this transportation electrification plan. It launches 20 new programs such as home, multifamily, commercial, fleet, and community-based charging. It provides rebate programs, advisory services, and we're even looking at EV school bus programs. We hope to increase engagement with advisory services for our communities, our residential customers, and like Summit Stage, fleet operators. We want to lower the upfront costs with charging infrastructure, making make-ready infrastructure and charging equipment more available for more customers. Cars and trucks are one of the largest sources of pollution in Colorado. And with companies like ours increasing the switching to renewable energy, it's becoming more beneficial to drive electric vehicles. Our state has made great progress. We have lofty goals to reduce carbon emissions and to add more EVs onto the roads. I'm pretty excited that in August of this year, we made a very bold vision at Xcel Energy, which is interesting to step into this space because, as you know, we don't make cars. But we said we want to have a vision that will power 1.5 million electric vehicles in the 8 states that we serve by 2030. This means that we need new charging infrastructure and customer programs. We will work with policymakers, manufacturers, and stakeholders. We know this plan will substantially cut carbon emissions from transportation and deliver cleaner air. It will also save our customers billions of dollars in fuel costs. In fact, we estimate it would eliminate 5 billion tons of carbon emission by 2030, about 3 tons per vehicle, saving customers about $1 billion annually in 2030. We believe an EV will cost $700 less per year than it will to power a gas vehicle. Driving electric is the way of the future. Riding electric is clean and fun and smells good so far. So we're very excited to partner with you. Looking forward to this. I can't wait to come up and ride myself. Thank you for letting me be a part of your celebration.
Thank you, Kelly. And by the way, we just applied for our first Xcel EV infrastructure grant, so be on the lookout for that. Up next, we have Jen Shank, who is the Executive Director of High Country Conservation.
All right, good morning. Thanks, Cheryl. As Michael said, I'm Jen with High Country Conservation Center, and we're super excited to be here. So congratulations to the Summit State and Summit County government for the brand new buses. Back in 2018, when we created our community-wide climate action plan, we found that 33% of greenhouse gas emissions were created from transportation. So we think this is a huge first step to starting to hit some of those long-term climate action goals for Summit County to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions 80% by 2050. And I think the thing that HC3 is most excited about, as was already mentioned by the Senator and by Cdot, is that this is truly going to inspire and encourage other mountain communities to do the same. It's going to encourage ski areas and communities across Colorado and the Mountain West. If we can run these things at 9,000 to 10,000 feet in our cold weather environment, then I know we're going to prove that they work here and inspire others to do the same thing. And so yeah, we are super excited. Again, this is going to help us reach our climate action goals. It's going to get people, not only get them out of their cars, but onto clean electric buses. So congratulations and thanks for having us.
Thank you, Jen. Up next is Dale Hill. Dale has been a long-time part-time resident of Summit County. He is also the founder of Proterra. Thanks for coming, Dale.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Can you hear me back there? Okie doke. Well, what an awesome day. But before I forget about it, there's free Proterra Gator masks there in that box there. But I can't take them back on the airplane. I just lost my notes. There we go. It's an awesome day here in Summit County as Summit States joins a worldwide movement to transform transit from diesel to battery electric. And this, as our senator said, is moving much faster than I ever anticipated, than I think anybody really ever anticipated. It's special to my wife and I in particular because we started Proterra in Golden, Colorado 15, 16 years ago. And 12 years ago, we moved to Summit County and have lived here either full-time or part-time during that period of time. So this is home for us. And so it's really exciting for that. When I started traveling around the world 15 years ago, telling people that there was paradigm shift coming in transit from diesel to battery electric, they would look at me and smile graciously and say, nobody's commercially built a battery electric car yet, and you're talking about a bus. And it kind of pushed me towards the door. Today, 15 years later, pollsters say that by 2025, 50% of all the buses sold in the United States, Canada, and literally around the world will be battery electric. And so we've come a long way in that period of time. And our little company now has over 600 employees. We have 2 assembly plants, one in Greenville, South Carolina, one in Los Angeles. We have our battery test lab engineering and manufacturing in the Bay Area. And you say, well, why that? Well, there's a little old car company across the bay from us. Anybody that was a manager for Tesla 3 years ago works for Proterra today. Because the challenge is, well, we made a cargo, but man, look at that bus. And by the way, these buses today, with the first buses, they go 30 miles on a single charge. Today, this bus is good for 150 to 175, and we just introduced a new extended range bus that will go over 250 miles on a single charge. And oh, by the way, Proterra holds the world record for distance on a battery electric vehicle, held until we broke the record by a British guy in a one-person car. We've driven a bus under very controlled conditions, 1,105 miles on a single charge. So that just gives you a peek of where the technology is headed and how fast it is going to get there. Last year, Proterra sold more battery electric buses and delivered more battery electric buses than all the competition combined. And so all this started about an hour drive east of here. So anyhow, as founder of Proterra, I want to welcome you, Chris, and your family of Summit Stage employees to the Proterra family. And Proterra considers our customers part of our family as we work side by side to change transit around the world. And so we're really honored to have Proterra and have Summit Stage as a part of the Proterra family. That family today includes 125 customers in the United States, 43 states, and 2 Canadian provinces, and most recently Guam. Not only that, that customer base is made up of 12 universities, made up of a dozen airports, including all 3 New York City airports. When we started, we formed a vertically integrated engineering and development team so we could control our own destiny and not have to rely on other battery manufacturers or other component manufacturers. As a result of that, we have stayed myopically focused on doing one thing, and that was building the world's best battery electric bus. When we had matured that technology, we were then able to commercialize that technology and expand the Proterra family. And now we're building the complete drivetrain with batteries for Thomas-built school buses. We're delivering the batteries for Freightliner UPS type delivery van chassis, for optimal cutaway vans, for Van Hool motor coaches, and most recently supplying the batteries for the largest bus manufacturer in Australia. So that all started here in Colorado, and I'm extremely humbled when I look around. So why this move to battery electric? For a new technology to displace an incumbent technology, it has to be cost competitive with that technology that it's replacing. In the case of a battery electric bus, it's more than cost competitive. A battery electric bus, in the 12-year life of that bus, will save the transit agency approximately $300,000 in diesel fuel, and it'll save another couple $100,000 in maintenance. So the initial upfront cost is more, but in the 12-year life cycle of that, you're going to save $100,000 to $200,000 per bus. You know, when I go to talk to a new customer today, I tell them, I'm not here to talk to you about sustainability. We're going to give you that for free. I'm here to talk to you about saving money. And oh, by the way, each one of these buses eliminates somewhere in the neighborhood of 230,000 pounds of CO2 emissions each year on the roads of Summit County. And in closing, I just want to thank you for giving me the privilege of being able to sit in my office in Corinthian Hills and watch Proterra buses running back and forth from Dillon to Keystone. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you very much, Dale. Up next we have Karn, Chair of the Summit County Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you, Michael, for getting this all organized. As you can see, there are so many partners, members of the family that made this happen. It's not something we could do on our own. So we're so thankful to all of you for making this happen. And we're also thankful for you wearing masks, but I'm now 20 feet away, so I'm gonna take mine off a little bit. That is such an exciting message. We have messages on our stage buses, and they've been really important messaging devices, and this is such an exciting message. I'm just thrilled. The Summit County Board of Commissioners are committed to electrification, and we just declared recently that we are a Go EV county, which means that we understand the impacts of greenhouse gas emissions from vehicles, and we're committed to be 100% electrified by 2050. So this is a great first step, and we just can't thank you all enough. The Summit Stage is highly regarded in our community. It is highly used by essential workers every day, by visitors to our county, and by all of us. So this is just such an exciting first step, and I want to thank you all for your roles, because we could not do it alone. It takes more than a village and a state and a country and really smart people to make this happen. So thank you all so much. And do we get to cut the ribbon? Let me get my co-commissioners up here.